Hey everyone, it's Desiree and I am here with Spellbinders, and we are going to take two of their monthly clubs and we're going to combine them. That is something that is really, I feel, unique when it comes to Spellbinders. They have all of these beautiful kits available for a monthly subscription. Now there are some changes and I'll be explaining those at the end of this video. So there's just some tweaks and ideas that they're creating and also changing within the subscription plan. Nothing major. It's still all wonderful. But what I'm also seeing and what I think is really great is the kits can now be combined with each other. So it's almost like they work really well on their own. They do great standalone, lots of arsenal to add to your stash, but yet you can start combining them. And that's what I want to show in this one. So in today's video, I'm going to combine the July, the July Glimmer Club Kit. And this is called Slimline Nested Glimmer Dots. The Slimline cards are just continuing to take off and go into even more sizes than what we started with, which is usually the 4x9, or what I like to use, the 3.5 by 8.5. So this is a great set. You get these great dots that go around and they're all nesting, which I think is wonderful. Now this largest panel measures 3 by 6. So that's the largest panel here, and then they just keep going down. Your foil for the month is rose gold. And again, when you purchase the Glimmer System, this is one of the foils that comes in it so that you can get started right away, which I think is great. The other set that I'm going to combine with this is the large die of the month, and this one is called the Mini Slimline Envelope. Yes, I said envelope. And Nested Card Creator. So once again, we've got these beautiful dies, okay, that are nested with each other. Beautiful scallops, pinholes that are created. You have your outline border, and this outline border here measures 3 5/8 by 6.5. And this most outer decorative border measures 3 1/4, just a little bit over that, just a scamp, and just over 6 1/4. So that's your large size. Now this is really important because this can go two ways. This can create your base for your card, but I'm also going to show you in a minute what else it can do. And then of course we have our leaves and wonderful flowers that we can die cut as well. And our center sentiment, that is a cutout, is a happy birthday sentiment. So I'm going to combine these two. Now these dies here, what these dies create is an envelope. So this is your base. So you would need one of these, 2 of these for the flaps, and 2 of these for the side. And I am going to show making an envelope step by step. All right, so you're going to see that whole process. So I'm going to switch over to a voiceover because I find that's a little bit easier right now. And let's get started. Just know I've always taken care of my die cutting. So here are all the wonderful yumminess of my colors that I've chosen. I really wanted to go with, for some reason, I'm thinking a sorbet parfait there. I'm not quite sure why. No, not tired, just thinking that. However, my leaves are actually going to be done in a craft brown, so I've got those covered or cut as well. I've got my main base that I'm going to foil on in ivory. I've already cut out my sentiment, and I used one of the dies, the border dies from the large die set, and then this is the beautiful happy birthday cutout. So I know you're seeing a shaker card there. We won't be making one of those today, but absolutely in love with how that looks. So I've got that ready to go. So let's switch over and let's start foiling. I've got my system heating up here and we should be ready to go momentarily. Okay, so let's get started in our voiceover mode. So I am going to combine, like I said before, the Glimmer and the large die kit of the month. So we're going to start out with the Glimmer borders. Now remember, these are called the mini Slimline nested Glimmer dots. So I'm going to take 2 of them and I'm using the Spellbinders, I call it the low tack tape. I really like this tape. It actually, I'm not having any issues. So I have those lined up on my cardstock and I'm going to be using the Spellbinders trimmer to cut my foil. It makes it so easier. I find when I try to use my scissors, it bends, it folds, I don't get a straight cut. It's okay, it's operator error. It's me. So I've created the hinge. I've got them stuck together also on the other side so that they don't shift. I'm able to take that piece of foil down. Now remember, when you're doing this, remember how your layer goes. So when you're layering this way, you want to make sure, excuse me, that your foil shiny side is facing you. If you put it down onto the Glimmer mat, then you're doing the reverse. The shiny side is down because you're putting your plate down first. It takes me a while. So you saw I had a little bit of ghosting. Now what I do to get rid of that is I use a white eraser. And it has worked for me every time. I know I have said that to others and they find that it doesn't work for them. So sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. Maybe it's because, I don't know, I'm guessing here and I don't want to make any assumptions. But I do. I use a white eraser, not a sand, and I've always had good luck with removing that ghosting. I'm now going to come in with one of the large die nested rectangles that fits perfectly inside of that, of those 2 Glimmer dots that I chose. So now I've got this cutout piece and this frame. Now, if I didn't say it, we are using rose gold foil, and I do love that color. It's very versatile. So from the large die set are all of these wonderful floral images you can die cut. So I just went to town and I stuck with a warm, sunny, just warm and sunny colors. I didn't pull in any blues or purples. The only green that I pulled in, matter of fact, I didn't even pull any greens as I'm looking at my thing here. I actually used craft for the leaves that are to be die cutted. But so I wanted to just stick with this warm and I guess spicy. You know, this doesn't remind me of autumn, but these are like spice colors. I don't know. What would you call them? Let me know. Don't say ugly. Don't. I'm just saying. But these colors just kind of came to me. I was able to pull from my scraps, which is always awesome. And I think the other reason why I went with those is because I wanted a black background. Now, my Slimline that I'm making is going to be 3.5 by 8.5. So I'm putting this frame in the center of that backdrop. Now, you don't have to. You could actually make the Slimline the actual size that I have cut here. And there's a reason for that, because part of the large die cut, there's an awesome envelope, and I'm going to show you that at the end. It's a great envelope, guys. So just keep that in mind. But I do like the size of 8.5 by 3.5 when it comes to my envelopes. Okay, back to the card. So I also used from the die set, the large die set, the Happy Birthday Sentiment. I am absolutely in love with this font. And I love the fact that it's open in the back. So shaker cards, here we come. But I wanted to put a piece of black cardstock to make it look like it was going through to that back panel. Just to, you know, make that pop a little bit more. Now you could add glitter to that. You could use like a glitter cardstock, you know, anything that you have. I'm going to use some fun foam to prop this up, and I'm using my double-sided tape to do that. That is my 2-inch film, and I'm going to set that down, and then I'm going to set that right in the middle. Now, I propped up that other panel that was cut out, also with fun foam as well. So I've got these 3 layers of dimension. So now on to our awesome flowers. So I'm going to kind of let you know how I get a lot of times the question, you know, how do you know to layer these down, or all of that. Now, I also answer that in my card kit. You know, I get that a lot there. You know, how do you know this all matches? What do you know that thing? Kits are made to go together. But for here, when I have all of these florals, one of the things that I always do is I'll look at the card, and there's a sense of balance that I'm kind of looking for. It doesn't look like it's balanced, but what I'm looking for it to be balanced in is the number of flowers. And I work in odd numbers when it comes to my flowers. Now you can see for this one, I'm putting down my leaves or my vines first. They're long, they're extended, so I'm going to build up off of that. I also want the florals to be on these different layers, these different levels. So I want them sometimes to come up underneath. So it's almost like it's an explosion that's coming out that side. I know, I tend to create violently. You know, I have things exploding, I have things trailing. You know, it's just that, you know, spilling. It's fun. It's an awesome way to create, right? So that whole odd number. Now, down in that bottom right-hand corner, I have 1 floral. The leaves, I will sometimes count, but the florals are what come to me first. It all depends on that floral image. Will depend upon how many leaves I put in behind, and do I care if there's an odd number or not. So far now, I've got the 1 down in the bottom right, I've got the 3 in the upper left, and you can see now I've got that, I almost had 4 going down in that bottom left. I switched it to 3. Here's why. I've got 3 above it, I'm going to have 3 below it, and then I have 1 off to the right. There's my odd number. Even though I have more florals on the one side, I have them like mini focal images. And again, this is just my relationship. What I see through my eyes to say, yes, that looks appealing. Yes, I like that. So I like that I have the one over there, it's sitting on top. The one that's in the upper left-hand corner, it's starting to go up underneath the happy birthday. The one that's down on the bottom left, it's coming flat from the card and coming up to the next layer. So these florals are going down layers as well, and it's kind of doing a triangle formation. So you hear a lot, you know, the theory of 3s or the vision of 3s. There's different ways to say that. Triangles are appealing too when you have objects. You want to create that triangle. Did you ever see Reba? The T triangle. Okay, sorry, I just thought of that. Okay, I digress. So that's how I kind of look at this. As I'm throwing, again, I'm still doing that whole throwing, see what sticks, see what goes, but that's kind of what I'm looking at, and I will end up with an odd number. We added some gems. I pulled some of those from their essential section for Spellbinders. I encourage you to check that out. And now on to the envelope. So in the large die, you have these die. So you want to cut 2 of the small ones, like you can see here, and 2 of the larger flaps. And then you have this one big rectangle. So that's kind of your back of your envelope. Now, when you die cut these, there's going to be 2 score lines. So you want to make sure that they are folded in. Now you can use your paper creaser if you want. I usually tend not to. It allows me to wiggle it just a little bit. Oh, wiggle. Okay, never mind. I won't even start. It gives me some movement, and then I'll come in with my creaser and put those creases in. Now, I made a mistake because I put my double-sided tape on the wrong side. I figured, okay, since it was curling up, that's where I needed to put my tape. No, you actually want to put your tape on the outside of those bends. All right, and you'll see, yeah, I did it to every single one, absolutely. And here's why. If I kept it the way that I did, these edges would be on the outside of the envelope. And I wouldn't want them, if I did put this through the mail, I wouldn't want them to run through the mail. They'll get caught on something through their machines, more than likely. So I just added another strip on the other side. So however you curl them, you want to put it on the outside of the curve. All right, because then you'll see when I peel this off, everything's going to go on top of this rectangle. So I apologize for that confusion, but only me. And again, I'm not worried about, I'm just going to keep the release paper on those, and they just nestle perfectly right on top of that rectangle. It's actually really cool because I'm like, yes, it just goes right there. Creates a perfect frame. I fold the two sides in. I add a little bit of glue onto those other pieces. And then I just bring in a hard surface, either your paper creaser. I grabbed my metal ruler just to push up so I can push down so that glue can let it be adhered. Here's what's awesome with this envelope. One, it perfectly fits if you make a card the perfect size of the large die. It's thick. It's like 1/4 of an inch thick. So it is sure to handle all of our wonderful, it's just under 1/4 of an inch. It's a scant quarter. It's between 1/8 and 1/4. So it's going to take all of your dimensions beautifully. So I hope you enjoyed today's project. And that is something that I'm really, really enjoying when it comes to the club kits that Spellbinders offers. They all can work together. So if you get multiple club kits, you have even more possibilities because they'll intertwine. You can use all of these kits with each other so they match, which is great. So again, as always, the links for everything will be down below. The blog, the gallery, so you have even more inspiration for these two kits that are now available. And also to their shop, and then a direct link to the clubs if you want to be nosy regarding them. I encourage you to do that. Enjoy your day and keep smiling, guys. The sun comes up, and oh my God, I think I'm going to sing because now I'm hearing that. Oh my God, let's not do that. But please continue to enjoy. If you haven't already, I'd love for you to subscribe, hit that bell, be part of my group. But most of all, remember what's most important to me, and it's always important. Always be creative, guys. Till next time, take care.